As Netanyahu prepares for this critical dialogue with President Trump, the outcomes of their discussions could have far-reaching implications for trade policies and geopolitical stability in the Middle East. Joining us now to discuss all of this is Brigadier General Dr. Amnon Sofrin, former head of the Intelligence Directorate of Israel's Secret Service, or Mossad. Thank you for joining, Amnon.
Hello.
So Netanyahu is heading to Washington to discuss U.S. tariffs and regional security. What do you think is the primary strategic goal of this visit?
I think that we have to focus on two main issues. The first one is what happens with Iran. U.S. administration is threatening Iran that if it won't go back to the negotiating table and try to get to a new agreement, they're going to use military force, and they deploy many units around the Middle East in order to deter Iran and to prove to Iran that we mean seriously that we are going to use force and to attack you if needed. And of course, it will be with in coordination with Israel and maybe with the mutual effort of those two countries. But nevertheless, the Iranians are under pressure, and this is the main goal and the main issue, because Iran is what we call the head of the octopus or the head of the snake of all these things that are happening in the Middle East for at least the last decade. The second issue is what happens with Gaza. We are now fighting in Gaza, and we are enlarging our capability and activity in Gaza Strip. But nevertheless, the story of the problem of 59 people that are still being held by Hamas in Gaza is unsolved. And they won't give up, and they don't want to begin negotiating unless they get guarantees, international guarantees, that the war will stop and Israel will retreat from Gaza Strip, and they will some kind of remain in power. And this is unacceptable for the side on the side of Israel, and of course on the side of Americans. And this should be discussed between those two leaders, meaning the Israeli Prime Minister and the U.S. President.
Now, you mentioned that the U.S. recently deployed a second THAAD battery to Israel. What message do you think this sends to Iran, to the Houthis, to the other proxies, to the whole broader region?
It means that it sends a signal that we are willing to participate in protecting Israel from any attack coming out, either from Syria or from Yemen or whoever. And we are willing to do so, and we are going to do, and we're going to be active. In addition, they deploy what we call attacking weapon systems, like the carriers, or the second carrier that is, or the carrier group that is approaching Israel right now. And that means that in addition to the fact that we are going to protect Israel, beware, because we have the ability to attack you and to hit you very bad.
Now, with the escalating tensions over Iran's nuclear program, how aligned do you think that Washington and Jerusalem are on how to respond?
I think they are coordinating better than with the former administration, because they see the problem eye to eye. Now, there are two options. The first one is that, of course, that the Iranian will be willing to go to a negotiating table, understanding that they don't have any other option but to be hit very bad by a huge attack, maybe by Americans or together with Americans and Israelis. And the option is, the best option is to go to a negotiating table and try to get to an agreement that will save some of their assets, but will deny the attack of the U.S. and Israel on their facilities. And the second issue is, even though they said that we are going to hit back and so on, we know that the attackability is limited. Now, they are very vulnerable today because of the fact that most of what we call the advanced anti-aircraft weapon systems were destroyed by Israel. And so they know that the ability to operate inside Iran is very easy for us and for the Americans, and they take it into consideration.
Now, we're hearing about Trump and all these tariffs. The fact that there might be economic friction surrounding these new tariffs, could this challenge the close military and diplomatic ties between Israel and the U.S., do you think?
I don't think this is a big issue between those two countries. I believe that they will get to some mutual agreement that will ease a little bit the tariff that was laid on Israel. from 17%, maybe even to a lesser extent. But I don't think that this is creating any tension between Israel and between the U.S. administration, because we have greater problem that we have to face together.
And in your view, what should both countries prioritize right now to maintain the strategic stability, especially as Iran, Gaza, and global pressures continue to evolve?
I think that the first priority should be to deal with Iran and to force Iran to get to negotiation and to get to some agreement that will postpone its capability to produce nuclear weapon system for many, many years ahead, as much as we can. And the second one will be to solve the problem of Gaza and to speak about the day after, who is going to control Gaza Strip, what kind of administration do we want to see there, together with the Americans. And the first priority is to bring back the 59 people that are being held in Gaza. Part of them are dead, part of them are alive, but nevertheless, all of them should be back home.
Amnon Sofrin, thank you very much.
You're welcome.